Well, let's get started. The first thing you need to do is call up the file called house prices, which should look just like what you're seeing on the screen. You don't have to do that right now, but at some point, make sure that you can access this file. Here we have data on various houses in a local community. It could be anywhere. The key variable of interest is the home price. We might be interested in purchasing a home. And if you note in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little red triangle that if you click it or sometimes just hover over it, it'll give you a little bit more information. So this says this is the selling price of the house in thousands of US dollars. For the column title, I've just shortened it to price, which will make labeling and other aspects a little bit easier. Our next key variable is the number of bedrooms, shortened to beds. Uh, Obviously, if you have a large family, you're probably going to need a larger number of bedrooms. Then we have bathrooms, which I should note that in most communities, a half bath means a bathroom that does not have a shower or a tub, just a sink and toilet. Square feet, this is the living size of the house. Uh, and if you look at my note on this one, you'll see that I do have a very rough equivalency for meters. And of course, you could do your own conversions if you prefer to work in um, meters. The lot size is the size of the piece of property. This is stated in acres. Most of the properties in a suburban community range from maybe just under a quarter acre to a full acre. Although you can see house size number 2 is almost 2.5 acres. That could create uh, some interesting anomalies. The garage, whether it has a one-car garage, a two-car garage, or no garage. Whether the house has a fireplace, whether the home is located in the north, central, or south region of town, and then the color. For purposes of illustration, I've narrowed the colors down to just blue, white, brown, and yellow. So there's our primary data set. Let's now take a few minutes to look at the data types. If we start, which of the ones are uh, categorical um, or qualitative? I'll pause. Well, if you guessed any one of the last three, all of the last three, you were correct. Fireplace, region, and color, as noted by the fact that they're typed in, the values in those cells are text, is a dead giveaway that we're dealing with um, categorical data. Interestingly, with some intent, the fireplace is pretty much a yes, no, or a 0, 1 type of um, data variable. I've got 3 choices for the region, north, central, and south, and 4 color choices. This is to give us a little bit extra variety in how we look at things. Now we have a question. Oh, by the way, none of these are really ordinal. Now we look at the other data. Price, beds, bath, square feet, and lot size. All of those are numeric or quantitative variables. Which ones might be discrete and which ones might be continuous? Well, the one that strikes most quickly is beds. If you think about a home or an apartment um, or a condominium, you would count the number of bedrooms. Usually you don't see anything listed as a half of a bedroom. So that would be discrete. Bathrooms, I would put also in the discrete category, but we've got those halves. And those halves can be a problem and be confusing. However, one might look at this if I was really interested in breaking this down further. Perhaps I'd have a column for full baths and a column for half baths, and that would be more accurate. But most of the time, real estate listings, you don't see data described that way. So bedrooms and bathrooms pretty much fit a discrete model, although the bathrooms are a little bit trickier. Then we have square feet and lot size. Again, we're measuring the square feet in terms of the living space, and we're measuring the lot size that the house sits on. So those are clearly quantitative variables that are continuous in nature. And we finish up looking at our data set with the price variable. Price is listed, as I mentioned before, in thousands of dollars. This is done for a number of reasons. One, it's sometimes easier to work with values that don't have a lot of digits. Uh, and so we've rounded everything to the nearest $100. Just to be clear, that number, when fully read out for home number one, would be $180,600. Often you'll see things listed even further, and it probably wasn't even necessary to include the decimal for hundreds of dollars, but I wanted to have something with a decimal format in there. So is price, which is money based, discrete or continuous? Well, if you think about the spectrum of home prices, 180,000, 160, ranging up to 400,000 or so, and we'll take a closer look at that a little bit later. You'll see that that is, uh, really over a broad spectrum. And while people tend to say we count money, we kind of measure it as well. So there's our home price data set overview, connecting it to some data types. Good to keep in mind. Oh, I glossed over very quickly the garage. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but the garage variable would be, yes, that one is clearly discrete and with a fairly limited number of choices. So there you have it. A quick little overview of the data. We're going to start doing some things with it in a minute.